Welcome back, everyone, to Spaces Uncovered. This marks episode 5, which is going to be a really exciting one because we are actually featuring an architect for the very first time on this platform. For those of you who've been watching since the first episode, you'll know that Spaces Uncovered was created to feature all design professionals that have an insightful design story to share. And today's story that we are uncovering will be shared by Reverie Architecture's design principal and principal in charge. His name is Vanillin Kokov. He's decided to put forward the project called the University of Chicago's Hong Kong campus. And if you think Reverie Architecture sounds familiar, it was previously known as Bing Tom Architects, which was a leading architectural firm in our region. Vanillin comes to us with a long and passionate architectural career, and he brings a very unique perspective to our industry. So welcome, Vanillin, to Spaces Uncovered.
Thank you.
No problem. So, Vanillin, what did your journey look like to become the design principal and principal in charge of an award-winning firm?
Where to start? I was born in Bulgaria, Eastern Europe. I think I fell in love in architecture as a kid. My father was master builder. He used to take me to the construction sites with him. So basically, I grew up on the construction site. They were my playground. The chisels and hammers were my toys. Soon after I finished university, I opened a small studio. And at the age of 29, I won my first international design competition. So I was doing well, but I had bigger dreams. So I moved to Canada with my wife and my son in 2002. And here I had only one job interview with late Bing Tom. My English was really bad. But Bing saw something in my portfolio and he said, you're starting tomorrow and don't worry about your English, your drawings will speak for you. So I was blessed and honored to know him and work with him for so many years. And he gave me the opportunities and he trusted me. He made me a design principal, and design director in the beginning, then later design principal. So unfortunately, he passed away in 2016. And his wish was for me to lead the company. And so here I am.
It's amazing, and I'm so happy that Bing Tom recognized your sheer talent at a very early stage and that you're letting the legacy live on. That's beautiful.
Yeah, thank you.
So, Vanillin, I understand that this project actually initiated from a design competition. I'm curious, what motivated you to take on this particular project and challenge?
We were really excited when the University of Chicago selected us to participate in this design competition and to compete with the top architects in the world. As for the site, it's located at the western end of Hong Kong, and the history of the site is very interesting. In the 1930s, it was a military site. In 1960s, it was detention center for political prisoners. And after 1997 was used for film sets. I clearly remember our first site visit on the hot day in September 2013. The site was screened by a high concrete wall with barbed wire, and we entered through the guardhouse into the intimate courtyard. And it was a shocking experience to see the traces of history, the people's life, the marks on the ground, on the walls, and at the same time, beautiful nature, magnificent view to the sea and wild vegetation. So we was really excited to win this competition, and we did.
Wow, no, that's incredible competition to win, and with a site as unique as this one and such a compelling history, I can only imagine the creative design thinking that must have gone into winning the votes of an international design competition. And, being familiar with some of Reverie's work, all of your projects, they have such rare form and reason driven by a conceptual story. I'm just dying to know what is the conceptual story behind this project?
So we wanted to celebrate and respect the heritage buildings and natural landscape. So the architectural solution was to float the new academic building slightly over the heritage structure and the existing landscape, like a tree house. We wanted to have nice balance between the new academic building and the heritage structure, so not to overpower the heritage buildings or to diminish the heritage site. So by blending the natural landscape, the heritage building and the new floating building, wanted to create the multidimensional experiences. And have we succeed? I think we have.
I think you have too. And who doesn't love a treehouse concept anyways? What was the most challenging part about designing and building on this project site?
Definitely was the site conditions, the difficult topography, an elevation difference of 29 meters, dense vegetation, more than 500 trees. And on top of that, heritage structure spread over the site that also needs to be preserved. So in the beginning, the challenge was how to create something that could be built on this site and how to create something new without destroying something old.
Wow. And I mean, although the site was really difficult, it sounds like it gave you this amazing opportunity to create a truly magical experience. And I love that you've been able to embrace every angle of the site and all of its context. Let me get this straight though. It was first a military base, then a prison, now it's university, and sometimes also uses a film set and a museum. I mean, Vanillin, there's gotta be something secret, unexpected, hidden behind the scenes that you could maybe share with us as any secret design features?
Most of the former military and political prisoner detention rooms was incorporated in our design and repurposed for different uses, for classrooms, for student lounges, and for our museum. We also kept the traces from the cages, like the metal cages on the floors and the ceilings. Detention center was known as the zoo. People were thrown into the tiny cages and were treated as animals. So we believe transforming these heritage buildings to teaching and study rooms will enrich the students' experience.
What a remarkable student experience that would be. So one thing that you shared with me a few weeks ago when we met to discuss your approach and process to architecture, you had a really unique approach that you shared with me that I was inspired by. Most architects, when they start to design a building, they'll sketch out the whole building in elevation, and they'll draw the sketch, and then at the end of it, they'll throw in an avatar. So that's a silhouette of a person, and that's just for reference of scale. But what you said, which really inspired me, was that you said that you start with the avatar. So you start with the person, and then you start to shape all the forms and the lines around it to create a truly experiential form. And you related it back to a poem, because you said that, writers who write poems, it enhances your imagination. And I thought it was amazing relating that back to architecture and having more meaning and depth beyond the architectural walls. So my question to you is, what advice would you give to someone that is on this journey of not just designing or creating a building, but truly creating an architectural poem that has the power to alter your emotions?
Okay, take a chair. If it has a seat and 3 legs, it's good enough. It's useful and practical. But what about comfort, pleasure, and beauty? So, what's architecture about? Architecture is not about just architectural theory or construction techniques. It's about people. So the focus is to create buildings that can touch people's heart. So design needs to go beyond form and function, needs to focus on people's experience and feelings. So the goal is to create an atmosphere of constant change, an atmosphere that stimulates the senses, an atmosphere with emotional forces that awaken your imagination and creates unforgettable experiences. And also, don't forget that any project has different agendas, but with one purpose, to bring joy and well-being to people.
Thank you, Vanillin. What amazing advice. I've only met you a few times so far, but every time I've left the conversation with you, I've left completely inspired. And so just want to say thank you for being part of Spaces Uncovered today and allowing me to feature your project. I'm really grateful for this experience.
Thank you for being here.
All of your projects, they have such depth and meaning. You're really nailing the premise of Spaces Uncovered. And I look forward to staying in touch with Reverie's projects. I know you have some really exciting work coming to life very soon. So I'll stay tuned. And for those of you tuning in, yet again, always so appreciative that you keep watching this channel. I hope you enjoy the design story as much as I did. And as always, make sure to subscribe, and we'll see you at episode 6.